Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rixus, and as you can see on the screen, I have been playing Paladins. Now, this video is not what you're thinking. I'm not going to be saying that Paladins is a vastly different game than Overwatch, and it's not a clone, and I'm not trying to defend that, although in essence I kind of am, because I'll be talking about the differences of why I prefer Paladins to Overwatch in general. But if you want to see a good breakdown of Paladins versus Overwatch and how they differently play, I would say go watch Total Biscuit's video on the matter, which I will link up in a card right about now. Otherwise, I'm simply going to get my opinion on the matter out of the way and just say that Paladins plays closer to a MOBA like League of Legends or Smite than it does to Overwatch. And Overwatch plays more along the lines of a team-based, or a class-based shooter, like Team Fortress or Tribes, rather. So, here's the major differences that I like. I prefer Paladins over Overwatch, although I will be playing both of them. I will probably just be playing Paladins a bit more, I think. This is very early on in my play of Paladins, so, but the initial reaction is pretty strong for me. First off, the time to kill feels right. For those of you that don't understand what time to kill is, it is an average time of how long it takes to kill an average champion or character in the game. So in Overwatch, the time to kill is like 2 to 3 seconds. It really is. If you've played Overwatch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're walking around as Soldier 76, you're gonna go flank the enemy, and you walk around the corner and there's this Reaper. And you don't have enough time to even fucking react before that Reaper just goes boom, and you're dead. And that happens all the damn time, even with tank classes. And Reaper is a solid idea of what that, you know, of that time to kill mechanic kind of put in there. In Paladins, it is very much a brawly shooter. You can get up nitty-gritty and have fights that last somewhere along the lines of, 7, 8 to 10 seconds. That doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it is a world of difference in shooters. You take into consideration things like Counter-Strike, where matters of, like, entire games are predicated on a half-second window where a shot is made or not, versus things like Quake shooters, where you can end up getting into a pretty brawly fight at the end, between two very good players. That's just how it rolls. I prefer the time to kill in Paladins over Overwatch because it means that I can bring in skills rather than who can flick their mouse the fastest. So, that's what I prefer. In Paladins, the next thing is the shield timing is very, very important. Compared to other shields like in Overwatch, like Reinhardt, the shields used in Paladins are much less different. Excuse me. The shields in Paladins are almost like a cooldown in a MOBA, to where they only last for a certain amount of time, they have a cooldown associated with them afterwards, and the more damage that thing soaks up, it is going to affect the cooldown for the most part. And the shields act in a very, very different way. So in Paladins, a Ronaldo shield is going to act very differently from Makoa's shield, which is going to act very differently from a Barzik, I think his name is actually pronounced. So all these shields act differently, and therefore they can be countered differently. And that's a very important thing, is these shields can be fucking countered, and they can be countered hard, and that can create a very interesting team comp. And so that's something that I greatly enjoy. So if I'm playing Makoa and I see a Ronaldo is basically single-handedly holding off a team, I can spin to the back of him and stun him, and that will shut down his shield for at least 8 seconds, which can give my team plenty of time to make a push. And Makoa's shields can be broken into, and the Barzik shield can be worked around. So the shields are very, very important, but they can be worked around, and their timing is important. So there's a bit more of a metagame than just hold up your shield and make a wall like Reinhardt in Overwatch, and I prefer that. And on the topic of shields, we can start talking about team comp and how it is very important based on what your team is playing versus what your other team is playing. In Overwatch, you can pick any champion, any hero, at any time, at any kind of concentration. So if you want to play 5 Mai's and a Reinhardt, you can go ahead and play 5 Mai's and a Reinhardt. Want to spam 6 Junkers, a Pharah, and a Reinhardt? Do it. Notice how basically Reinhardt's in every goddamn team comp. he's that good. The shield is very important. You can kind of see it in Paladins that shields are very important, although, fuck it. not getting into that. The thing is, the team comp is very important. You cannot switch characters in Paladins, and you cannot have more than one character on a team in Paladins. What that means is you have to work with your team to make sure that all the characters you pick are going to either synergize well with each other or at least promote some kind of a solidified team effort. So if you're going to go a very frontline heavy approach, you would probably pick 2 tanks, probably Makoa and Ronaldo. And you would probably want to pick someone with a good amount of pressure, say a Drogoz or a Bomb King. You would want to have a probably Grover as your healer, and you know, something like that. You would want to pick based on what your teammates pick, more so than you would in Overwatch, because you can't switch. You stick with that the entire game. Now, because of this, and this is going to get into my last point here, because of this team comp idea, because you can't switch, Hi-Rez has figured, you know, sometimes you're going to pick poorly, and we want to help you kind of get over some of the gaps in your champion's armor, as it were, by allowing you to, 1, pick card loadouts, which affect the way that your abilities, your weapons, and your armor work. And when you're in the game, you can use credits you earn from getting kills, doing objectives, helping out your team, and purchase items that will affect your base stats. So things like lifesteal, health on kill, movement speed, damage reduction from either area of effects or directs. But you can't just stack one of these things to the other. So there are 4 different things. There's utility, damage, healing, and defense. You can hit one aspect for each of those 4. And some characters, most characters, you're going to at least pick one of each. Some characters, you're going to sink almost everything into one as quickly as you can before you go on to the next one. But for most time, you're going to spread your stuff. And that can lead to, even if you end up picking poorly against a team comp, you know, because you're new, that's okay. With some help from your teammates, you can at least make your choice not nearly as bad, and with some smart playing, you can get over that initial disadvantage. So that's very, very nice. Overall, I really do like Paladins because it plays more like a MOBA and less like a class-based shooter. It honestly does fix a lot of the problems I have with Overwatch, at least right now. Do keep in mind that I have less than 20 hours in Paladins, but this is my first initial reaction. Ooh, I almost forgot one big thing. Maps and game modes. In Paladins, you can choose which game mode you're going to go play. You can play Siege, you can play Payload, anything like that. Whereas in Overwatch, you kind of get stuck into a rotation, and some matches you just are not going to like. Sometimes you might not like Control, sometimes you might not like Escort, things like that. In the game modes in Paladins is a good mix of like Control and Siege. Okay, so Siege is a good mix of Control and Payload. You have to go get a point to spawn your payload cart, and that's going to, the team that spawns that payload cart then has to escort it to the other team's base. And so at the beginning, you were both playing just with the Control. At the second half of the match, you are now playing Payload, and so you don't pick based on if you're playing attack or defense. You have to pick knowing that you could go into either attack or defense. And I kind of like that because it just kind of means that you can go into that. On top of that, the point-based system and the way that they handle payloads and their scoring system there is good. So in Paladins, if you scoop a payload, they measure how far you got your payload and in what kind of time limit. So if you get your payload 75% of the point, but you couldn't get it any further, and you did that in 3 minutes, right? The next team has 3 minutes to get the payload to that point that you did, or further, in order to win the match. And I really like that. And in Siege, you can start picking together points. So if you manage to spawn the payload a good number of times, but you couldn't push it any further, that's okay. Because you get points for every time you spawn the payload. And if you can't make it all the way to the point, that's fine. The other team gets a point for deflecting jumps. And it can go on. I'm getting a little rambly. It's about, my recording says it's a little past 10 minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut here. Needless to say is that Paladins is a very good game. It's free to play. I highly suggest you check it out. I'm probably going to be playing it for a good amount of time, so I hope to see you guys there, and I hope to see some more Paladin-like stuff on my channel. So, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Vrixis. Bye-bye.
Behold the dragon's fury!